Welcome to the woods. It's a scorcher. 27 degrees, blue skies, sunshine. It's quite shady here. The birds are loving it, the dogs not so much. It's been a while. It's been about 2.5, 3 weeks since I've had a chance to sit down and have a chat. As per usual, it's been busy. I've been busy here in the small holding. Been busy with the Woodlander initiative. We had our first meet up in Wales, which was really good. I'll touch on that in a minute. What I wanted to have a chat about today is the ludicrous situation we find ourselves in, where we're just coming up to a general election in the UK. Not something I'm particularly interested in. It's a massive distraction from the work that needs to get done. But everyone does seem to be invested in this, is interested in this, which is a shame, because I'm going to lay out simply how I see this. For the last 3 years, I've literally said that we're not going to vote our way out of this, and we're not. This election is no different. Regardless of the Reform Party and Farage, which I'll come to, we'll end up with a Labour government this time. There's been lots of discussion, a push to destroy the Tory party, the Conservatives, because of the 14 years of complete and utter destruction they have wrought upon this country. And I understand it. Do I think the Conservatives will be routed? Yes. Do I think they'll get 0 seats? Probably not. But it's going to be a massive defeat. They've seen massive defeats. It looks as if this one will be the biggest, but I don't think that kills the Conservative Party. The Conservative Party is more than a name or even an institution. It has very, very deep roots. And as much as you may chop the whole tree down and leave nothing but a stump, it will grow back in one shape or form. So don't be deluded in thinking that a huge loss in this election for the Conservatives means you will never see the likes of Rees-Mogg or Cameron or Boris Johnson ever again, because we will. A lot of people are excited and enthusiastic and supporting of Reform and Farage. I find that perplexing. They're doing nothing that 10, 15, 20 years ago the Conservative Party wouldn't have done. They're saying nothing new. And yes, it may look on the face of it that they're echoing our talking points. It's true that we have, without a doubt, had an impact on the narrative. But if there's anyone watching this who honestly believes that if Theage gained power, he would implement any of the policies within his manifesto. You're wrong. He is, and the party is, a structure of the system. Some will tell you it's a controlled opposition, or a pressure valve, or a place for the Tories to regroup. And all of those could be true. But it gets away from the point. And the point I'm trying to make is that as mildly interesting as these topics are, and we could spend another year, and I dare say people will be spending a year discussing these points, it will not change the direction this country is headed. Labour looks set for not only the biggest victory, but one that's going to see them in power for the next 10 years at least. They are 100% signed up to Agenda 2030 and the push for net zero. I have little doubt that they will stop some of the illegal immigration, that they will put in place some policies that will take the wind out of the right's sails. They will roll back some of the woke nonsense. Again, taking away a lot of the arguments from the right. And they will get down to serious business. Starmer is a barrister. I had a chat with a barrister the other day, OBE. He knows Starmer. He said he's played a shrewd game over the last few years by basically just hiding and letting the Conservatives make every mistake they could possibly make. He said that when he comes to power, everything will be done in a legal and legislative manner. You will see reams and reams of laws, rules, restrictions being passed through on the books, as if we haven't had enough of those already. This is the way he will consolidate his power. It is almost at the point where a populist party cannot emerge because what they would put forward would be illegal. That opposition to the ruling party will be nigh on impossible. And this is what we've got coming in the next decade. That push towards technocracy, legislation, restrictions. So whilst everybody's cheering on Theage and thinking how wonderful it is that that mythical Overton window has been shifted once again to the right, the reality is it's Labour that will be here for the next decade, and they'll be getting on with some very, very restrictive, serious measures. Will they stop immigration? No. They're pro immigration? Will they bring the numbers down? Maybe a few of the small boats, but don't look at legal migration, they want more. And as our system slowly crumbles, their answer isn't to turn off the flow, but to pave over the fields with more housing. Not for yours and mine, not for my kids or my grandkids, and certainly not for yours, but for the people they'll be bringing in. So where do we go from here? Well, there are people who believe that they will start a political party within this system and within a 5-10 year period come to power and overturn everything that's been done nationally and internationally in the last 20 to 50 years. I would say that that's not only unlikely, but is verging on fantasy. In order to safeguard our future, we need to look at alternative solutions and alternative routes to power for ourselves. Parallel structures. A means where we can consolidate our people, our ingenuity, our businesses, our wealth, and build again. And this isn't just happening in the UK. There are groups in America, there are groups in Australia, there are groups in Canada, there are groups in Europe, all pushing along these lines. Buying land, building homes, starting communities, consolidating the people and the wealth and growing again from there. It puts you in a much better position. It puts you in a position of safety. It puts you in a position where it's actually an enjoyable place to live and to work. And it doesn't have to stop at buying land. But I'll talk about that briefly now. Buying land does so much. It retains the land of this country for us to use. And the choice is there for you. Either we own it and have use of it, or a global corporation owns it and denies us the use of it, or the state buys it and builds tower blocks on it. The choice is yours. Which one do you choose? We own it, or they own it? I know which one I choose. But it doesn't have to stop at land. We could buy property. We could buy commercial property. We can start businesses together. We can expand our power base. All of these things will be talked about more and more in the coming years. The good thing is we have already started. That first plot of land that we bought, the second plot of land that we've bought, the get together that we had there where people came together, home educators, small business owners, young people, older people, men, women, singles, couples, families, children, everyone, our people. And we had a great time. And we talked about the future. And we talked about what we wanted. And we talked about how we could do it. And how we start small and grow from there. And once we get working somewhere, that we can duplicate that and offer people an alternative. if we continue down the same route we've done for the last 100 years, we'll end up in the same place we are now. We need a fresh approach. When we were sat in that meadow, I was talking to people and we were having a laugh and cooking sausages. And I said the most important thing now is to not stop. We can't afford to sit back, enjoy what we've got so far, and stop. We need more people. We need more people to get involved. We need more people talking about it. We need it to grow. And that's happening. Already, within the last few weeks, more members joining. It's good to see. I watched a video, Arvel, in the return to the land movement in America. They're doing great things, and the laws and restrictions aren't quite the same in America as they are over here, so they've been able to buy 100+ acres and start their builds already. It's a proper return to traditional, authentic, European way of life. And we're going to have to discuss how we can use technology to our advantage and yet not have it infringe upon our everyday existence. These aren't discussions that are being had, and they need to be. In my last video, I spoke about how comfort and convenience had been the goal we had always been pushing towards, but that actually the achievement of comfort and convenience has left us in a position of weakness, and we need to find that middle ground, and we need to find a way we can use these new technologies alongside a retention and retaining of an authentic way of living. So by all means, folks, have a look at what's going on in that general election. It is interesting, but be aware that there's a reality that comes with it. That for the next decade, things are going to get mighty tough. And we need to start working together, pushing forward and putting ourselves in a position of security. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share the video around. Everyone knows that YouTube squashes everything that I put out anyway. Thanks for listening. I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, folks.